Yo, YouTube, what's going on? It's your boys, Abezy. We're back with a video, guys. And today, man, oh my word, we're back on it with the roles series. So today, we're talking about how to be a Slayer in Call of Duty. It should be a fun one. Obviously, in the last video, we talked about how to be a main AR. And in the overarching video, we gave a brief breakdown of all the roles and how they play together. So, of course, before we get into it, the roles in Call of Duty are pretty fluent. Like I said in the past, it's like playing a zone defense. Whatever area of the court is open, you got to shift over there and fill that space, fill that void. It's the same thing in CoD. So, like, if a role is missing, aka they die on the map, someone's got to go fulfill that role while they're respawning, and things can shift around. So, of course, in CoD, like hardpoint especially, is a very fluent game mode, and that has to be taken into consideration when talking about the roles. But as for the Slayer, the brief definition of a Slayer is a player who pushes out in hardpoint from the hill, creates map control, forces the other team to spawn out farther, and gets kills away from the hill. As CoD has progressed, the role of a Slayer has become more like ambiguous, with all of the players at some point in the game doing some sort of slaying. But a player whose general job is to slay is the guy who, once the hill is taken, will immediately push out and try to get map control and basically attack the opposing team while they hold the hill. So from the clips that you guys are seeing here, we're just showing a lot of different variations of like Atlanta, Faze, Scump, Empire, Rokkr. They're all out there slaying away from the hill. So when you're watching those clips, just pay attention to the guys who are pushed out away from the hill, because those are the guys that are currently slaying. So when you don't have a hill in hardpoint, the duty of a Slayer is generally to follow the entry player and get his trades. And so what that means is the entry player generally will jump in, and then the Slayer will come in behind him, come in second, and if the entry player dies, he kills the player that killed him. That's a trade. And then in a perfect world, he then secures the hill and then pushes out to try to get map control. Again, it depends on the hill, it depends on the map, and it depends on the game mode. In Dom, things are a little bit different. Since it's not hardpoint, obviously, there's usually like an objective Slayer, like a player who slays around the B flag. And then generally like the route man, which is another role in hardpoint, might be more of like, some people call him the menace, some people just call him like the flank player who goes and pushes for the C flag. But realistically, that's technically slaying as well, because like I said, the broad definition of a Slayer is getting kills away from the objective. But there are different variations of Slayer and domination. Generally, the main Slayer would be the one slaying around the objective at B. And so it does depend team to team, but most teams generally prefer to have him towards the B flag. And again, for those of you wondering like what it would look like in S&D, basically the roles with how they work in Respawn are completely different to S&D, and the roles aren't necessarily as well defined in S&D. Every team has their own strats, and that can play out in different ways. So realistically, slaying isn't the same in any means, and really doesn't exist in Search and Destroy versus like Dom or Hardpoint. So in past Call of Duties, oftentimes the Slayer would have more freedom when it comes to like playing for kills when score streaks were dominant. Like Black Ops 4 last year, score streaks could change a map. And so oftentimes Slayers would have more freedom to play for their streaks instead of playing for an objective or going back to anchor. And that encourages you to let your teammates kind of bait for you while you clean up their kills, things like that, to play for those streaks because of how dominant and game changing they can be. So it does depend on the CoD game and how their roles come into play with how score streaks are involved, and that can of course affect a Slayer's role. But in Modern Warfare, there's no streaks. We play with specialists, and nobody's trying to play for those because they're not game changing at the end of the day, so it doesn't really affect this year. So oftentimes in this game, Slayers can get put into a position where they need to be the rotating guy, the route man, in a lot of ways. So a team will generally have like a route man, a guy that is comfortable hitting those early rotations for the new hills and hitting those far flanks, playing in the middle of nowhere, playing on their own, trying to go win the spawns for the new hill. Sometimes the Slayer, even though it's not his job, finds himself in that position to do so. For example, like Scump right here in this clip, he does a great job slaying out. I'm just going to show it here, but just pay attention to how he slays out on Gunrunner here, pushes out, and then realizes, all right, yo, I need to rotate. The hill's almost over. I'm going to hit for new, and he puts the Huntsman in a good position to win the hill. Let's check it out.
Yo, in P5.
Oh, look at this guy mid.
I don't see him create side.
Stop.
Stop.
Yo,
Pig, dead.
I have a trophy.
Yo, flood front. One's close.
Rokkr's dead.
Spawning deep, guys. Spawning deep.
Yep. I have time. Working the forest side.
3 of them spawn deep. Two hitting middle right now. 2 hitting water.
I'm watching it.
I pinched him.
Back right. Nothing forward.
Another one green.
In water. You said in green?
Yes.
Two front.
I got one water.
Up front.
Green dead.
Nice.
Nice.
Good job.
Spawning deep,
Yes,
spawning
bro.
deep.
Yeah, deep swans.
I know it.
Good job.
Job out.
Yo, I'm new.
I'm just blocking.
I'm helping
bro.
middle, Alec.
I'm not. I don't want to flip.
Matt, let me
Smoke
know
door,
there.
smoke
Matt,
door.
let me know there.
Top crate.
I can't see anything.
They're not here.
Another one middle,
Job.
guys. Help the new.
I'm watching it. Got one front on me. FD dead.
One shot you, one
Are
shot
you?
you.
Yeah, you still. He's probably gonna ego challenge.
I'm open train.
I'm new.
You still
One
slack.
close, one close as fuck.
Oh,
Yeah, you.
no.
No, dude.
So you see there how Scump pushes out towards mid through office, hits back green, plays that time there away from the hill, letting his teammates do their thing over the hill, while Scump is creating map control and funneling those spawns out back towards water tower. Because he's playing that Slayer role, he's able to rotate, has a good idea of where they're coming from, and gets more kills back behind the new hill. Absolutely so frustrating for opposing teams when they're trying to get map control and they can't when those Slayers are pushing out like that. So fantastic plays from Scump there. That's a good example of how effective Slayers can be. And in a similar light, I was just watching his stream trying to grab some clips, and this thing happened again on Ramazza. Same situation basically. He starts pushing out to try to get some map control and then realizes he needs to rotate, pushes out, and gets control of new as well. So let's check that out.
Front door.
I'm in paint. I'm in paint.
Middle maps like that.
One's front door.
Front door dead.
Watch your back.
Yeah,
middle,
I can get button.
I pushed out the back.
One's bottom dirt.
I spawned.
Yo, they're coming over half wall. Coming over half wall right now.
Bottom dirt.
I'm dirt absolute and one zig. He's
going
split.
third.
Out third. One zig.
Challenging.
I'm
Zig,
coming back.
zig, enable.
Watch zig,
Front door
watch
and
zig.
dirt. Front door and dirt.
Enable zig,
Yeah,
enable.
dirt on me. Heal it.
I don't see zig.
Spawn down, spawn out,
Left side hill.
I got an enable.
One shot after me. There's one front door.
Alright, you stay new. You
Can I
stay
say
new.
it?
Throw the side.
Dude, I'm trying to play my life.
You should just go new out.
Cat.
Yo, he's
Front
paint
right now.
stairs.
Cat.
Behind him.
Two roll.
I don't see him until.
And I got
Front door.
I'm going in.
dead.
I'm gonna go top window with the heady.
I'm going front with you. I'm going
Play
front with
set.
You on the
Top
heady?
middle is open.
We know we got 10
you. Yo,
seconds.
alley.
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
it.
I got
alley,
3
alley.
seconds out of it. Damon hit me old dirt.
Oh, he's in
We
new.
have full new.
I don't see him in
New
new.
dead.
Yeah, close right.
New guys.
Dead.
Push out the back.
Push out the
Push
back.
out,
Push
push
out
out,
the
push
back.
out.
Yo, low mid. I'm in the back. Yo, low mid.
Yeah,
Pillars.
yeah,
Low mid. The
pillars,
pillars out.
Pillars, one shot.
Dead.
So those clips paired with all the clips you guys have been seeing, hopefully you have a good understanding of what a Slayer's job is and how it relates to the rest of the team. Again, man, slaying can be fun, it can be flashy, it's generally meant for the most talented player on the team, the one who feels most comfortable in the 1v1 gunfights, the player that can win the 1v1 in the open. Most of the time, a lot of players think they're slayers, where at the end of the day, they're not meant to be. They're better off playing the OBJ role, a support role, a main AR, whatever it is. Though many think they can play it, not many can be great at it, like Scump has been in the past, like Simp is now. How to get better at being a slayer? You've got to get really comfortable in the open like that, playing patiently, like how Scump played that 1v1 in green, very patient. It wasn't sprinting around corners, winning those gunfights in that sense, and then having the mental fortitude to immediately rotate without hesitation towards the new hill. Those are all qualities that span across all slayers. Watching the pros play, of course, there's so many great slayers out there that you can watch. Watching the pros is always the best way to go about getting better and improving your game. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, like, comment, favorite, subscribe, share it if you guys really enjoy it. I really do appreciate all the support. I'm trying to do this full time and I cannot do that without you guys, so I really do appreciate it. But as always, guys, I'm your boy, Salvation's Elite, and we will see you next time. I'm out.